Please join me in welcoming members from our 6th grade orchestra who have their winter concert tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Lisa, Jenna, Zoe, Matthew, Bailey, and Tripp to perform Frosty the Snowman.
Ready, guys? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
A big round of applause to Mr. Carella, Mrs. Kelly, Ms. Livingston for putting this all together.
On behalf of the Board of Education, I want to thank you for sharing your musical talents with us and wish you a really great holiday, okay? Wonderful job.
Joanne, I don't know if you're gonna find a secret.
Striking the set, huh? All right, so we are going to now move on in our agenda this evening. We're next up the public hearing on the real property tax exemptions for senior citizens and persons with disability and limited income. I'm going to pass it off to the superintendent of schools, Dr. Graham.
Thank you, Mr. Noah. I don't know if the microphone's on, but I'm going to pass it over to Ms. Meliambro. And Ms. Meliambro is going to give an update to the community, to the Board of Education, about the property tax exemption or partial exemption that the board will act on this evening. Ms. Meliambro.
Okay, thank you. Earlier this month, the Nassau County Assessor's Office informed the Locust school districts that the county had enacted a law to increase the maximum allowable annual household income for low-income senior citizens and personal disability exemptions.
Tony, can you just your microphone, just so that everyone at home can hear us?
Yeah, closer, okay. To increase the income limitations from $37,399 to $58,399 in order to qualify. If you are under $58,399 in household income, you would be entitled to an assessment reduction of between 5 and 50% off the taxable value of your property, the assessed property. The districts, if they want to opt into this program, have to do so, notify the county by January 2nd, 2023. The county's office has adopted these limitations, and most towns have opted in for them. The impact of opting into this would increase the number of households who qualify for the exemptions. That would be the people that fall in between the range of $37,000 and change to $58,000 on their annual household income. We currently have 60 households who qualify under the current income limitations. Unfortunately, the county was not able to give us any additional information about how many other households would qualify under the new limitations. They won't have any information whatsoever until April of 23. The impact of opting in is that the tax levy will shift to the households that do not have this exemption from the households that will now be entitled to it. And we have no idea what that value is, and we won't know until April of 2023, when the people who are entitled under the new limitations actually submit their applications for the exemptions. So on the agenda is a resolution to opt into these new limitations, to give the low-income senior citizens and persons with disabilities the ability to qualify for assessment reductions if their household income is under $58,399. Any questions?
That's under the consent agenda, correct?
Correct.
Any questions from the board?
What was the,
Gotta make sure our microphones are
I'll
on.
just yell. What was the total number right now?
Right now, there are 60 households that qualify under the $37,000.
60?
60, yes. Mhm.
And we know that
Because every year, and we have it posted on the website, and it's in our budget materials, it has a listing of all the exemptions that our residents have. It will give like the military exemptions and how many people have it. And so these exemptions are listed there, and there are 60.
and we have no idea who else.
We have no idea how many additional households will qualify when we go from the 37, if we raise the income limitation from 37 to the $58,000. The county has no information available to give us.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, so this item will appear tonight under the consent agenda 9H to be acted upon.
I just have to say this, it's, I guess, pointing out the obvious. Of course, people want to help people who have income under $58,000. But it's really just poor business to ask people who are in charge of building a budget, approving a budget, to say yes to something when we have no idea what the outcome is.
Agreed. And
I mean,
business
it's
officials- the business officials have been back and forth over the past trying to get information, trying to look on any kind of, anywhere to find any information to provide, and there just isn't. Everybody's struggling with that same thing, Margaret. Some have opted to say, until I know in April 2023 how many additional households are here, we can postpone and make this decision next January for the
That's what
24,
I'm
25
inclined
year.
to say.
So you're right, it's very difficult to, make this decision without all the information. But that's what we were asked to do at the.
No, I know it's not you. I mean, it's typical government,
Right.
sadly.
Is there a way for us to ask for an extension for the vote?
No, we can't. We have to tell the county before January 2nd if we want to opt in for the 23-24 tax year. If we don't opt in by January 2nd, our next opportunity is to opt in the next year for the 24-25 tax year.
And forgive me, because you know this isn't my strong suit. We will know by this April, right?
Yes.
So then when we opt in, if we were to choose to push it off, when we opt in next January, we won't be in this same quandary.
Correct,
We will know
because-
the actual
Right,
numbers.
because in April 2023, the county will have received the exemption applications, so they will be able to tell us how many people opted in.
But if we opt out this year,
If we
then we'll
opt out
be in the
this
same
year-
situation next year of not knowing.
Right, we would have to extrapolate data from other places and give a best guess,
Yeah, that's what I was trying to ask.
Yeah, so we would be in the same situation again.
That's right.
But we would be able to at least give a range of the expectation of what we would have.
Where would we get the data for to guess the range? Is that something that's accessible to us this year?
No, we have no information acceptable this year. Next year, we'd be able to find out what happened in other districts, right?
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, we're now going to move on to public comment. Do we have anybody signed up for public comment this evening? Is there anybody here?
Joyce?
Would you like to speak? We'll move on then to reports to the Board of Education. Move on to our student reports. Ms. Deltano, student.
Part of my attire, I'm doing the EMT course at school, so this is what I don't think. Good afternoon, all. We all hope that you had a great Thanksgiving break and it was filled with memories with family and friends. The students and staff are happy to be back in the building working hard until winter break. Q2 has officially started and students are looking forward to starting off strong. Many seniors are waiting in the next month to hear back from early decision and early action deadlines.
Our school's Interact Club recently held a blood drive. We are happy to see the significant turnout to this emergency blood drive. We appreciate all the students and staff who contributed and helped out. Through the Career Exploration Program, the high school has had many speakers come to the school to discuss future careers. Recently, we had New York State Supreme Court Justice Timothy Driscoll and Nassau County Family Court Judge Colin O'Donnell come in to speak with our students about various civics topics as well as careers within the court system.
We are looking forward to the upcoming musical ensembles of the district to perform at the winter concerts. Information about each school's concert can be seen on the district website.
In terms of athletics, we had many fall athletes get recognized for their tremendous dedication and efforts to the sport. We congratulate all coaches and players on a successful fall season. We are into the first few weeks of the winter season, and we are excited to see how our Falcons will look. Thank you for your time tonight. Good night.
Thank you both. Olivia, how's the EMT class working out?
Good, very good.
Excellent. Okay, we'll move on to the superintendent's report. Dr. Grant.
Thank you, Meg. Thank you, Olivia.
Thank you.
I should start running my superintendent's report by Meg and Olivia because I think we have a couple of overlaps. I certainly wanted to thank Ms. Bonasina and Ms. Corella and all of our music students for their performance this evening. And our music and theater students are incredibly busy throughout the district right now. The Jesters had their one-act play That Goes Wrong earlier in November. We have winter concerts, as Meg and Olivia just mentioned, this week and next week, and check us out on the website and you can see all the dates, times, and locations for those concerts. We were competing, as the girls mentioned, in our winter athletics program at this point. Had the opportunity to go by and see the girls basketball team today. So, you know, again, check us out on the website and try to get out and see some Falcons compete. And now, while we still have 2.5 weeks left of class prior to the break, this is the last opportunity that the board will be together for a public meeting. And certainly for myself and on behalf of the Board of Education, we do wish everyone a very happy, healthy, and holiday season. And the next board meeting, I think, is sometime after the new year. And as the final part of the superintendent's report, I wanted to provide the board with an update on the profile of graduate work. And so if you could take your attention to the screen. I want to thank the committee members who worked on the profile of a graduate project with us. And you'll see that's teachers, district administrators, building administrators, Board of Education members who perhaps wear multiple hats as parents as well. Some parents, and so we had representation from multiple stakeholders throughout the district. And I wanted to thank all of them. I see Dr. Gaglione here, and I know Ms. Demas, Ms. Marchand, and Mr. Vasilio, who are all here as well, and Anne-Marie Bonasina, who all participated in that work, so thank you to those of you who are here this evening. The process thus far has been in November of 2021. We sent out a community survey, and we had a list of attributes that we were looking to gain some consensus on from our community in terms of what people felt were the values and attributes that they wanted our students to have upon exiting our school system. So that was in November 21. And in the spring of 2022, we assembled that committee and we started doing some work. The committee worked on looking for overlaps or perhaps combining a couple of things and then also defining some of those attributes. This fall, we came back together. We tried to have a couple of meetings over the summer, which was challenging at best. But we were able to come back together this fall, and we developed a couple of graphics on our own, and then we shared them out with Syntax as well. And Syntax was able to revise some of those graphics, one of which you'll see in a moment. So the next steps for the profile of a graduate are really focusing on how we can integrate into our district. How do we get it into our school buildings? Do we involve that in the Board of Education goal-setting process, mission and vision? Do we include that in other things throughout our school district? So you see, this is the graphic that we identified, and of those 13 attributes that came up as consistent for our entire community, we put them into 5 categories, and those categories are principled leader, collaborator, communicator, resilient achiever, and lifelong learner. And each of those attributes are further defined in terms of what they are, and then there are some bullets there in terms of what we think they look like. The information here, I know that's probably hard to see on the screen at home, and certainly for the board, I Some of you might not have your glasses with you, but this will all be on the website tomorrow morning, so that'll be available for public consumption as well tomorrow. And the next set of slides really is just, again, our mission, board goals, and then our next steps. As I mentioned before, this is work now that we can begin to integrate into the goal development process. So our next steps are working with leadership and instructional staff, developing shared understandings of what those attributes are. What does that look like at each of our grade bands? We have primary buildings K2, intermediate buildings 3-5, and then our middle and high school. And those might not always look the same at each of those bands, or we might use slightly different language with students. Developing professional development offerings that are related to the profile, and embedding profile language into our district curriculum writing projects. So those are the next steps as we see it. We're going to get this information up on the website. We're going to start to get that graphic out and hopefully have that become something that people are very familiar with and accustomed to. And over time, whether it's 1, 3, 5, 7 years, hopefully we start to internalize some of those attributes and it becomes something that everybody has a very clear understanding of within our district. So again, I wanted to thank the committee for their work on that. Certainly thank the board for giving us the opportunity to pursue the profile. And at this time, if there were any questions from the board, we can entertain those.
Any questions from the Board of Education? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. That concludes the superintendent's update.
Fabulous. I'll go into board committee reports and begin with the audit committee. Trustee Vassilio.
No report?
Thank you. Trustee Del Tauto apologizes for his absence this evening and reports no progress or anything further with the Budget and Finance Committee at this time. Trustee Themis, Curriculum Committee?
No report at this time.
Okay. Also, I have no report for the Facilities Committee. Policy, Vice President Marchand.
Okay, not first reading right now. Okay, no report.
Thank you. Professional Development and Board Training Committee, Trustee Steele.
No report.
Public Relations and Communications Committee, Trustee Steele.
There is a report.
Thank you.
We met this evening. Is that loud enough, Ken? All right. We met this evening.
You need a microphone.
That's not loud enough?
They'll pick us up on the recording.
Can someone text us? Is this loud enough?
That's loud enough.
Okay. We met this evening at 6:30. It was a spirited discussion over how to be more inclusive and bring the community in more to our schools. We have some planned events that I have to applaud Lauren Themis for her leadership on that. We have a couple of exciting events that we're planning, but it's a secret for now. We're going to get sure. We also discussed upcoming issues of sound waves and lots of exciting stuff because there's so many great events. Look at how excited you are, Tom. For the winter holiday events as well as what's going on in our elementary schools. And there should be a nice spread, hopefully, about the exciting opening of our pre-K very shortly. Can we get some enthusiasm? Here we go. You can see, that's how you fill a room. Yeah, all right. That's all I have. Thank you, everybody. Happy holidays.
Thank you very much, Trustee Steele. Okay, are there any other committees to be reported on this evening at the board table? Okay, that concludes our board committee reports. I have no unfinished business on this evening's agenda. We'll go into new business. We'll start with our first reading of policies and exhibits. I'll pass it over to the chair of the policy committee, Vice President Marchand.
This evening, the first reading of 2 different policies will be read. The first policy is policy 1900, parent and family engagement. An exhibit that goes with that, 1900E.1, Title I, Parent and Family Engagement, School Level Policy. And exhibit 1900E.2, Student Academic Achievement, Student Parent Compact. Any board discussion? We'll vote on that one?
No, we don't. This is a first reading.
Okay. Okay, I'm sorry. The second policy for the first reading would be policy number 6640, and that is for inventories. And was this mandated, this one?
Yeah, do you want me to give you a little update on
Yeah,
how we're
please.
reviewing these policies at this
Yeah.
time? Both of the review of both of these policies and the revisions that are proposed came out of the submission of our federal grants last year. And these were just some updates that we learned of in the grant writing process. And so once we learned of those necessary updates, we worked with our attorney, Ms. Sadowski at Ingram & Smith, to develop some updates. We had our policies reviewed by our school and department heads who are involved with both of these areas. And so this is the two policies in front of the board this evening for the first read, 1900 and 6640, have been reviewed by internal staff to make sure that what we're saying we're going to do in policy is actually what we do and is aligned to all of the requirements associated with the grant submissions. Tony, is there anything else related to the inventory policy?
No, I believe that we just reflected things that are already disclosed in our financial statements about our capitalizations and record keeping and everything like that. Those are the,
So there's no action for the board to take at this time. There's a first read. And what we would anticipate doing is having these on the next agenda for a second read and adoption.
Also, they're posted on the website for this 30-day period or?
As policies under review, right, Susan?
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so anybody in the public that would like to review those are on the website.
Tomorrow.
They'll be on tomorrow for your perusal. Okay, anything else under new business? Anything for new business? Okay, we'll now move into consent agenda. I'll ask if there's anything that the board would like to discuss in the consent agenda. I'll ask if there's anything that any board members would like to pull to act on separately in consent agenda. Do we have a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented this evening? Motion by Vice President Marchand, second, Trustee Steele. All in favor? It's unanimous. I do also just want to share that both Trustee Schaefer and Trustee Deltado apologize for their absence this evening. Okay, we'll now go back into public comment. Do you have any comments? One public. Okay. So with that being said, we'll now move into, I'll entertain a motion for executive session. Just before I do that, I do want to, on behalf of the Board of Education, wish all of our students, their families, teachers, administrators, and staff a very happy holiday season, and certainly a happy new year. Looking forward to 2023, and we thank you for everything you have done to get us into the school year and as we continue. So happy holidays to everyone on behalf of the Board of Education. With that being said, I'd like to entertain a motion to go into executive session to receive advice from counsel regarding negotiations and to discuss the employment of a particular person. The executive session is a closed session of the board. Any action will be taken in public. Do I have a motion to enter into executive session? Trustee Themis, seconded. Vice President Marchand, all in favor? So the board is now in executive session. Thank you.